Hello there, Commonwealth from here, and together with Ancient Searcher we bring to you 12 Breath of the Wild 2 predictions. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into the predictions. And at the end we'll just mention the so-called leaks. Prediction 1, title reveal. The 20th Zelda game is less than a year away, and it has now been officially 6 years since the last reveal of the previous Zelda title. So why are we still stuck here less than 1 year before release without a title? The answer can be traced back to E3 2021, when the title wasn't revealed but seemed to be revealed, and an interview with IGN where Nintendo's Bill Trinan and Nate Bildorf revealed that
Zelda names are kind of important, those subtitles, and they start to give little bits of hints about maybe what's going to happen, but you'll just have to stay tuned and look forward to when we finally do decide to reveal it.
With the need to market the game, you can't get away from revealing the title, but first the spoiler has to be revealed in a trailer. Well, this is the moment, as 3D Zelda have for the last 16 years been revealed in June. We can also not forget that the spoiler of the title might also have some connection to Skyward Sword and the curse placed in the end of that game. Thus they might also have decided to not reveal it because the Switch version of the game Skyward Sword HD was still not out until after E3 2021. This points to the fact that the title is tightly connected to the story, time period and state of Hyrule or gameplay found in the 20th Zelda, and that it shouldn't be revealed too early. After all, the ending of the second teaser had enough space for a title reveal on the left side of Hyrule Castle. You know, the opposite placement of where the logo was revealed for Breath of the Wild in 2016. Only that last year nothing appeared for almost 20 seconds as Zelda's Lullaby played. Very sus indeed. And let's remember, this song is the inverted version of the Ballad of the Goddess found in Skyward Sword, and the Goddess was there before the first Zelda in the timeline. And you know what was also inverted? The theme we heard in the E3 2019 reveal of Breath of the Wild 2. All hinting at the theme of time and time reversal present in this game. The more we think of it, this title reveal change must have been almost last minute. As we all know, Zelda titles are most often revealed at E3 and tied to the characters or gameplay. But you know what also takes place in the second half of June this year? The one and only in a lifetime sale of our official 300k plushie made by Makeshift. Once again, thank you so much for 300,000 subscribers. Which is quite sizable, very detailed, depicting our mascot with all its feature, helmet, sword, armor and most importantly a game controller. We need to sell 200 of it for them to be produced, so head over to Makeshift by clicking the link in the description to get your official commemorative plushie and support the channel. But now let's get over to prediction 2, namely the Ancient Zonai replacing the Sheikah Monks for Link. The Ancient Sheikah Monks were the main side objective for Link and key to gaining the true ending by pulling the Master Sword in Korok Forest. However, with them dissolved, they will no longer aid Link in this game, as their duty to the goddess was fulfilled in the shrines. Thus an entirely new race of spirits absent in Breath of the Wild will most likely fill this void. The more we dug into it, the more we realized that the Zonai, due to their great role, were intentionally cut out from both Breath of the Wild and Age of Calamity. All because the Zelda team have been saving them for the true quest of the hero, the one that was too great for a DLC. Something they must have realized rather late in development, and thus Lurelin Village and Faron ended up as the only of Breath of the Wild's 8 provinces without any objectives required to unlock the game's true ending. A reserve which was highlighted in the last 2 pages, that being 412 and 413, of creating a champion, hinting of things to come. All stated within the one sentence, ruins from times unknown. All the green dots have something to do with the Zonai, and they again possibly even sacrifice themselves to reach their deity and the realm which the dragons descend up towards. While in the following pages, 426, 427, we can see the map of Hyrule with clouds, hinting to a view from above the sky. The reason for all of this can be explained by our prediction 3, FARORE and the purpose of the spiral in Link's combined arm. This particular spiral has been seen in so many past Zelda games that you will be surprised. Fitting, as it most likely ties to the hero and was found across all Zonai locations in Breath of the Wild. At the same time, it will first be a part of the gameplay and main story in Breath of the Wild 2, including against enemies such as the automaton briefly teased in 2021. Even so, that doesn't mean that the forces that in Breath of the Wild use the weapons of Nehru or Wisdom are not present as spirits in the sky, which takes us to prediction 4, Return of the Champions. This one has been leaked thanks to Italian Daruk and his hint at ancestors. But if we have voice acting in this trailer, it will likely be some returning voice actor. Either some of the champions or once again Zelda, just like she opened the E3 2016 trailer by hearing her voice leading to the title reveal. But there's something far more important than the champions and voice acting, which we find in prediction 5, a fifth element tied to the sky and Link. We indeed have an entire video dedicated to this key element in the sequel, but to summarize it, Breath of the Wild had 5 champions serving Princess Zelda. Yes, Link was one of them, but in the game we only saw 4 elements. All 4 corresponded to the 4 visible elements found in the real life, and also champions. Elements that we saw highlighted in the final DLC of Breath of the Wild, Champions Ballad. Even so, there's a 5th invisible divine element, one that was saved for the cutout DLC that evolved into the sequel. Namely, the Spiral of Divine Ether to travel skyward to the Sky Realm. A layer that many players in the first game tried to reach through the Dragon Portal, but without success, which is found naturally in the sky, or more specifically Divine Heavens, which coincides with our next prediction, but this time tied to gameplay. Prediction 6, Exploring Space-Connected Areas. Part 2 of 2017's The Making of Breath of the Wild open-air concept includes producer of Legend of Zelda Eiji Aonuma revealing his intention to fix the limited sky area from Skyward Sword, saying those of you who have played The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword know that in that game you drop down to your destination within a limited area. In other words, we are likely to see more of this, which thus far has only been teased by this one paragliding scene in the sky. And speaking of multiple gameplay layers, Prediction 7, gameplay and layers going beyond the sky, as teased by producer Aonuma in the March 2022 launch update. So new enemies, weapons, gameplay, and far more. And within these, a great mystery of the sequel is the existence of golden trees upon the floating islands. What is their purpose in the sequel? Do their fruits contain essence of the Triforce, and will Link gather it in order to reforge the destroyed by Malice Master Sword, and within it, its spirit fire? And also, are these golden trees equivalent to the tears from Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword? Hopefully we can get an answer soon. And since we're as high as we can get in the sky, prediction 8, space. It might be teased, but it is mostly here due to space being the final frontier where Link and Ganondorf might settle scores. Well, that and space, said by Tim Curry, is just too hilarious, but also fitting with what is the aim of this sequel, going below, above, and beyond the open air of Hyrule. But there's also something else that was missing in Breath of the Wild, namely prediction 9, dungeons. In the ending cutscene of Breath of the Wild, we saw the spirits of King Rhoam Bosphoramus and the 4 champions above Hyrule Castle, looking down to Link and Zelda. Their purpose in the sequel has yet to be revealed, but these 5 spirits could be the new sages, guardians of temples as the sages in Ocarina of Time. So dungeons that might have been teased within the paragliding in the sky scene of the E3 2021 teaser. There we saw what resembled a temple structure in the distance. No doubt Link will have to get through these, or equivalent, to get back to Ganondorf. And with him we have to talk about our prediction 10, Zelda's fate on the ground or in Ganondorf's castle. Returning back to Zelda's Lullaby, played in what was originally planned to be the title reveal during E3 2021. It is clear that at the very least the trailer will not only focus on Link, as all teasers thus far have had a heavy emphasis on the trinity of the 3 main characters in the series, Ganondorf, Ganon, Zelda, and Link. Indeed, it would be odd to go away from that, especially since the previous teaser that almost gave us the title of the game ended with Link heading up to the sky, followed by the castle rising thanks to Ganondorf's malice, and then hearing Zelda's Lullaby playing in its final position, where the logo and title of the game should have shown up. In other words, we predict that we will see more of both Zelda and Ganondorf in the first proper trailer, which might also point to prediction 11, highlighting a far greater emphasis on storytelling. Specifically, a story that is voiced also outside of pre-rendered cutscenes. Before E3 2021, we played around the idea who could play Ganondorf in this game, and brought up the likes of Charles Dance, who played a similar ruthless character in Game of Thrones and The Witcher 3.
My character he's a very, very powerful man, probably the most powerful man, and as such, he doesn't need to throw his weight around. He's a man of few words. The words he speaks speak volumes. And he's ruthless. He's ruthless because he has to be.
Well, obviously in terms of the English voice actor, since the Zelda team knows very well who they should get to play Ganondorf in the Japanese version. Thus we predict that we could this time hear both Zelda, who we first heard in the E3 2016 trailer of Breath of the Wild, but since this is a sequel, it is only fitting that we also hear Ganondorf's voice in this trailer. After all, Zelda is the extended form of Hylia, while Ganondorf is the extended form of Demise. And clearly, this sequel will focus on the story of the goddess and blood and the demon and hatred to a far deeper degree, along with the spirit of the hero, which is Link. Also, the Triangle of the Triforce Wielders returns. So could we see a deeper love story between Link and Zelda being at the edge of extinction, and will Link finally speak to Zelda about his feelings for her? After all, these games where Zelda has spoken to Link starting from Skyward Sword, where it was implied that the first Link and Zelda founded the dynasty that still rules Hyrule to this day. And since we're on the topic of Skyward Sword, our last and final prediction, number 12. Beginning and end as indicated by Skyward Sword's Gate of Time. The Gate of Time, introduced in Skyward Sword and placed on the cover of the first official Zelda book, Hyrule Historia, which also gave us the official Zelda timeline, has 12 tooth symbols. And what do we have now in the timeline? 12 links. The final one being Breath of the Wild and sequel Link. And what is the 12th and final symbol of the Gate of Time? The spiral. Beginning and end, Alpha and Omega. Which could also hint that in this game we'll be jumping back and forth, or at the very least have some of the past heroes with us, potentially for Link's new functional arm with time-bending abilities. But that is a video that we recently uploaded and which you definitely need to watch if you haven't already. Now with our 12 predictions out of the way, let's go quickly over the most recent leak that some have covered and taken as fact. But we don't, at least not for now, and which primarily ties to the fate of the Sheikah Slate, Princess Zelda and New Game Plus. But that is all we're gonna say, as we're getting so close to a potential title reveal, first proper trailer and gameplay, so be sure to share your predictions in the comments down below. Also, spread this video by sharing it, liking it and subscribing to the channel, as the last is a requirement, enter our Switch OLED plus game giveaway, which is still up on Glee. Last but not least, a big thanks to all of you watching to the end and to our patreon.com/ComeRun patrons, and in particular royal producer Charles Shash for their support. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.